Namaste everybody. My name is Nandini Shankar and I'm a Hindustani classical violinist. I think I was blessed and very fortunate to be born into a family of Hindustani classical violinists. It was my good fortune to get my talim, my learning and all my guidance from my two gurus, my grandmother Padma Bhushan Dr. N. Rajam and my mother Dr. Sangeeta Shankar. And they have opened this new musical world to me right from when I was a little kid of 3 years old, and it has made my life so beautiful, such an enriching experience, and in so many ways music makes you closer to the truest moments of life. And I'm so happy to be a medium that is able to express it to all of you. So so many collaborations come in the course of one's career, and when Alliance Française reached out to me about In Chorus, Queens of Melody, it was rather intriguing at first, because though I had heard of Turkish music and heard Turkish music, I was never closely associated with it. And it was a wonderful experience to team up with Eléonore Fourniau, a French Turkish musician, and Abhishek Mishra on Tabla. And we had so much fun touring. And if you think about the musical side of it, I never knew that Indian music and Turkish music had so many similarities. Just like we have ragas, they have makams. And during the 5-city tour, we actually learned, Éléonore and me, we learned so much from each other musically, and even otherwise we became so close as friends. And even though the two music forms have their similarities, they have their differences as well. The microtones are different, the shrutis are different, and we found a way to combine everything together, and it was a great experience. So the first time that we met in Delhi, it was actually we had just about a day or two for rehearsal before our first performance. So it was rushed to say the least. But we all warmed up with each other very soon, and managing the cultural differences and the musical differences, by the end of the tour, all three of us became really good friends, and we really enjoyed the whole process. And even instruments like hurdy-gurdy, in fact it's the first time that I heard hurdy-gurdy live in front of me, because it's not something you find commonly in India. And it was a whole new world for me to learn the Turkish pieces, to understand the meaning, to understand that so much of their music comes from the village, from the folklore. And even Abhishek seamlessly was able to come up with grooves and tals that was so suitable for both the styles, and he was the perfect bridge between the Indian classical and the Turkish tradition. So the journey right from before the first concert to the last concert was amazing. I mean, we really enjoyed it. And in fact, one interesting anecdote which I would like to share, non-musical but still. So whenever Éléonore and me would go down for breakfast, she would end up ordering aloo paratha for breakfast, and I would end up having pancake with maple syrup. And we would always laugh about how the Indian is having the European breakfast, and the European is having the Indian breakfast. So that was our camaraderie. Even during our rehearsals on stage, we were continuously learning from each other, enjoying each other's music, and we even had solo sections in the beginning of each of us. So I think I really had a great time listening to Éléonore perform her repertoire. It was absolutely beautiful. As I said before, Indian classical and Turkish music have one thing in common, that is the use of rags or makams or modes or scales, as you would call it. So we found common rags or common modes that we could use, and in that a composition that I knew and a composition that she knew, and we both actually learned each other's compositions. We had reached out on Facebook to Facebook about, I think, a week before our collaboration, and we exchanged compositions, and it was a good time because she sent me the lyrics of the composition and the tune, and I tried to learn it on violin, and she learned all the Indian classical bandishes and even our form of improvisation on the hurdy-gurdy, and of course she played saz as well and sings as well. So I think the crucial point was the 1-2 days that we got before our Delhi performance, because even though we knew the compositions, integrating it to sound like one presentation was key, and that we figured out before our Delhi concert, before our first performance. We enjoyed a lot in our collaboration, and apart from the musical side of it, of course, we also found some time to squeeze in a little bit of sightseeing, because it was Éléonore's first time to some of the cities in India that we visited together. And challenges, I don't know, I mean, just the regular small things that any tour faces, but we sailed through it together, and at the end of the day, every concert was successful and got a great response, and it was all over the press. So thank you to Kalasetu and Alliance Française for putting together such a wonderful tour.
Hi, I'm Eléonore Fourniau. I'm from France, and I perform Turkish and Kurdish music with this instrument, the saz, and also with my own instrument, which is the hurdy-gurdy, European medieval instrument. I am into this kind of music for 10 years. I went for the first time in 2010 in Turkey to learn this music, and I stayed 6 years there. And now I perform mostly in Kurdish actually, but also in Turkish. So my reaction when In Chorus proposed me to this project was really good actually, because I love India. So actually when I had this proposition, I went just once to India in my life, and I didn't love so much the country at this time. But when I had this proposition, it was a good opportunity for me to come back to India and to have another point of view about the country. And I really actually loved it so much, and I had also the opportunity this year to go 3 times. I don't know why, it's a destiny, but in these years, in 3 months, I went 3 times in India. And so so for me it was like I felt really blessed to have this opportunity to collaborate with Indian musicians and to have a whole tour organized in a lot of cities in India. So our first meeting in Delhi was a little bit in a hurry, because we had just 1 day. So we met I think at night with Nandini, and we started to become friends really fast, really soon. We started to speak about a lot of things, of life and of our personal life as well, and music of course. And the next day we had just 1 day to rehearse all the whole program, 1.5 hour program for the next day concert. So it was a little rushed, but actually it was really good, because we had prepared the session before and the tunes and everything. So it gone very fast, and for me it was a really good experience to also work with such amazing virtuous musicians. It was really incredible for me. We worked together by trying to put together, to choose 3 similar like modes, like we call it in Oriental music makam, and they call it rag, and we started to we tried to find similar actually modes, which is not exactly similar because there are differences between quarter tones and stuff like that, but at least the similar scales. And then we chose some tunes in these three different makams, like modes, or which was Hijaz, we call Hijaz, and I think in Hindustani classical they call it Basant Bukhari. And more major sounding mode, and the last one was for us it was Husseini, and for them Bairavi. And then we put together some tunes, and of course also we had a lot of improvisation, and we made like that 3 suites of maybe 20-25 minutes of mixed compositions of for example, Indian alap, and then my Kurdish improvisation, and then Indian tune, and then Kurdish or Turkish tune, and yeah, and it was really interesting to do that, and really I think it was great. I enjoyed this collaboration really a lot. It was incredible. I think it was one of the best memory of my life, my musician life, I think, because it was just. As I said already, it was incredible to work with such amazing musicians. First of all, really good musicians, and also musicians from other traditions, and so it was really interesting for me to play with with violin and tabla, also to discover how can this kind of grooves, the Oriental grooves, can sound with a tabla, which is a really like different way of seeing the groove, but it matches a lot actually. So it was really interesting for me to do this collaboration, and not also musically, but really I think in a human, like as a human experience. It was really so interesting for me to learn about Indian culture, because we had a tour 2 weeks, and we were every time together speaking, learning from each other a lot of things, not only about music but also about way of thinking, about life, about a lot of things. And so it was a really in a human point of view, a really rich experience for me, and I appreciated really a lot this collaboration, and it was also really fun. We had a lot of fun together. And about the challenges, yes, it was really challenged for me to learn some Indian pieces. Especially I learned also to sing, not only instrumental but also a song in Hindi, and it was of course hard, and to learn all the ornamentations, because I am really interested in ornamentations and stuff like that. So I tried to learn from Nandini the details of the ornamentations, but of course I didn't have a lot of time, so it was not really as successful as I wanted, but I really tried, and it was a big challenge for me. And also all these talas and rhythmical TIs and stuff like that. It was really interesting for me to learn that. The concerts went really well, and we had really good feedbacks, and we were really happy after all the shows that we did in 5 cities. My best memory, I think it's the visiting of New Delhi with Nandini. We went to a lot of places. Actually, not only New Delhi, but we went to a lot of religious and spiritual places, like dergah and temples, and it was really nice to visit these kind of places, not just as a tourist, but with Nandini, which is Indian, and so it was really different, because I had gone to India before as a tourist, and this time to really to go with the Indian people to this kind of places opened me really something else, and it was for me a really deep memory, like a deep feeling and a deep moment to discover all these kind of places with Nandini. We would like to go ahead with this project with Nandini. We spoke about that to do some concerts in Europe and to organize something, and I really would like to do something else, not only shows but also maybe some singers or some recording together, to release something together, and of course when the pandemic ends, we would like to make shows together in Europe and in India, we hope. So thank you very much, first of all, to Nandini and Abhishek for this wonderful time together, and of course to Ingrid and Jeanne to have organized this really good tour, and of course to Kalasetu and Ethnomusica. And I hope we can continue this great collaboration in the future. Thank you.
Hi, this is Abhishek Mishra, Tabla player. A very quick introduction about myself. I basically belong to the Banaras Gharana of music, and I am from Varanasi in India, and I have been very fortunate belonging to a musical family. I am probably the 7th generation who is professionally doing music. I have been learning tabla since I was 3 years old at serious note, and then since then I have been learning, practicing and performing my tabla. And I am here to share my experiences regarding the In Chorus project, which was an initiative by Kalasetu and Alliance Friends. So I'm just here to talk about some beautiful memories that we shared. So when I first got to know about this In Chorus project by Kalasetu and Alliance Friends, I was happily surprised to know about this, because being a traditional musician, we love to do some new work as well, because we get to experience so many new things and learn so many new things. So I had heard about Turkish music at times earlier, like traveling in Europe and all, but I never thought of that I'll be playing or I'll be making rhythms and grooves for Turkish music someday. So this was my first experience with the Turkish musician, and hurdy-gurdy and saz, the instrument which Éléonore used, and Nandini Shankar, who was from the Hindustani classical music side. She is a fabulous musician, and she is a fine vocalist as well. I'm mentioning this because she has sung in probably all the concerts, and she has sung beautifully and people appreciate it. And Éléonore herself was a very good singer, and she's fantastic with her instrument and all. So when we met first in Delhi, it was such a coincidence that we just got a single day to rehearse. We normally take few days to rehearse for some good new music, and but we hardly had time because next day was the concert. But we had a good introduction among ourselves, and we had good cup of coffee, and we settled down somewhere. Then we decided to have some compositions. So Nandini and Éléonore, they were trying to match up their ragas and makham respectively. So then I fixed the rhythms and what was to be played with them, then the grooves. Then somehow it came well. We collaborated well, so that the music should come out nicely. and the culture should be united in that way through music. So it was well received in Delhi, and people appreciated it, and we felt like fine, we should continue this way. So Delhi was good, a bit of surprise just because one day of rehearsal and planning, the next day was the concert, but the surprise was good. There are plenty of amazing, beautiful memories throughout the project, and since being from the same age group and same generation, and we had lots of fun because apart from the concert time, we were most of the times we were together, and Nandini and Éléonore, they both were so complimenting by nature to each other, especially Nandini, who helped Éléonore in her costumes, in her preparations, in her being settled in Indian atmosphere, and we enjoyed all three together so much, and we had lots of fun at the airports, at the concert venues, and wherever we used to meet for the rehearsal and all. Like we were full of fun, and we were full of enjoyment and good times. By God's grace, the concert, the entire project went well in all the 5 cities. The members in the organization committee, the Alliance Friends members and the Kalasetu members, they managed everything so well, and good hospitality, good conduct, good organization, and the audience also responded very well, like more than our expectations. We got standing ovations also, and we are extremely looking forward to do the same project in further, like not just once but many times, especially waiting to perform the same project with many other new compositions also and rhythms in France also and other countries. So extremely looking forward to it and waiting for it.